All right. Looks like we are live at the moment. I'm going to try to get a confirmation from other people as well, just to make sure. Here we are. Okay, so we are live. All right, so welcome to whoever's joined the live Facebook chat here for Memphis Youth Athletics. This is the coaches chat, and today we'll be discussing distance running as it pertains to female runners. And I'm really excited to have Hilary Stellingwerff and Shayla Houlihan with me today. The whole purpose of this chat is to we're going to try to keep things very sort of informal and sort of more discussion, or I call it coffee shop type chat. And if any of the viewers have questions, just go ahead and post them, and I'll moderate with Hilary and Shayla. So I guess to get started, just have you guys introduce yourselves and sort of give a bit of background of where you're from and how you got into running. So Hilary, if you could start, that'd be great.
Sure. My name is Hilary Stellingwerff, and I'm currently the head coach of the University of Victoria track and cross-country program. And formerly, I was an elite athlete from about 2005 until 2016. I ran in 2 Olympics as a 1,500-meter runner for Canada in 2012 and 2016, and did a bunch of other teams, World Cross-Country Championships, World Track, Indoor and Outdoor, Pan Ams. And I grew up in Canada, spent a lot of time, probably 7 years living abroad in Europe, and also in the US. I went to the University of Wisconsin, so I am a Badger as well. And now enjoy sharing my experiences as an athlete in my coaching.
I just realized, I forgot that you went to Wisconsin. I guess I knew that, but and I suppose that was when Jerry Schumacher was there, right? For
Jerry Schumacher was the men's coach, but I was coached by Peter Teagan, who was really a successful women's coach for about 30 years, and went on after that to Stanford.
Cool.
Yeah.
Shayla?
Yeah, so I'm Shayla Houlihan. I just started coaching the Under Armour Pro Group up here in Flagstaff, Arizona. We are yet to be named. Big meeting tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have a name established and a logo and all that. So look for that in the future. But before that, I was at Cal Berkeley for the last 7 years. I was head cross-country coach for both men and women. I was also the assistant coach for men and women during track and field. I coached anything from the 800 on up to the 10K. And then before that, I was at the University of Utah, got my master's there in health promotion. I also ran a year there. I got to volunteer coach there as well. Kind of kick-started my coaching there. And actually, I guess I skipped over my professional career. I was professional then after Utah, and after a year or two of volunteer coaching, and I ran for Brooks for about 2.5 years and got to kind of do the pro circuit, ran the steeplechase. It was a lot of fun, good experience, but my passion lies with coaching, so I wanted to get back with it. And then before that, I was at the University of Northern Iowa for 4 years and ran there. And I'm from Iowa, so that's
awesome.
My background.
What town is it again in Iowa? Just outside of
Sioux City.
Sioux City, that's right. I actually
northwest corner.
Gotcha. I actually met your mom 2 years ago in Des Moines.
Oh, I bet.
And she was telling me about her. She had some knee problems, and we started talking about knee disorders and things. It was kind of funny. Random.
Oh, yeah. She's done it all. She has stem cells and PRP injection, all that stuff. So she's actually back running. She runs for about an hour a day, which is amazing.
Wow, that is impressive.
It doesn't look pretty, but she does it. So.
It doesn't look pretty. We won't tell her you said that, unless she's watching, of course.
And she knows.
It's funny that you mentioned the name of the pro team up here, because I was trying to look it up the other day, and I knew that there was an association with Team Run Flagstaff, but I also knew that wasn't the name of this new group, and so I couldn't find it. So I'm glad that I wasn't missing it, and it just doesn't exist.
No, you're not missing it. It's been a long process. We have a name in mind, but we we wanted to take it back to Under Armour and make sure the marketing team was on board with it, and see if they came up with something even better. So just kind of in a holding pattern, but it sounds like we have something on the books. So excited to hear
Awesome.
what they
That's
have
good.
for us tomorrow.
Sweet. So you guys mentioned your backgrounds and sort of your running background and coaching background now. And I guess I'd like to know if, what, of course you were athletes, but what made you decide to, or what got you excited about coaching? So what was the catalyst potentially for you guys to decide that this is what you wanted to do after running?
You want me to start?
Sure, go ahead, yeah.
All right.
Again, we're at a coffee shop and, we just talk, right? So, yeah.
Go. Yeah, cool. So I have a teaching background. I actually, in between coaching or in the middle of my professional career, I went back to school after my journalism degree at Wisconsin and went to the University of Western to get a teaching degree and did some teaching while I was a professional athlete and really enjoyed that. But then I started volunteer coaching at the University of Victoria here and really enjoyed the mentorship that was similar to teaching, but in also sharing my love of running. Just felt like a really natural fit to share my experiences as an athlete and some things I learned in failures and success, and to translate that into coaching. And so that's been really valuable for me to recognize that my experiences can be helpful, but also that that's not everybody's experiences, and that as a coach you really have to tailor to the individual athlete and build relationships. And so you can use your own experiences, but also learn from the athletes that you're coaching and be able to individualize that. So, it has been a great fit for me, and I really enjoy combining that teaching and mentorship with athletics.
Yeah, so I guess having a teaching background is, coaching is essentially teaching to a degree, right? So it might not be the same as, because I forget what grades you taught, Hilary, and what.
Elementary, actually.
Yeah.
So
it's a bit different, but somewhat similar at
not
times,
always.
right? Yeah.
No, it is. No, it's very similar in just mentoring and learning, and it's humbling as well.
Yeah. What about you, Shayla?
Yeah, so I started to get the coaching itch after my sophomore year of college. My coach at the time, Coach Kepler, who was my coach for 10-ish years, he was leaving for the University of Utah, and he kind of pulled me and another one of my teammates aside and was like, hey, you guys are kind of the leaders of the team. I'm going to entrust in you guys to kind of take the reins and make sure that people are doing what they need to be doing, and tasking us with that. And I was like, interesting. If Coach Kepler's a coach, why can't I be a coach? There was like this aha moment, and I was like, I think that's what I want to do. And at the time I was getting my degree in business, and I was like, well, okay, what are the steps I need to make? So I changed my major to exercise science, and I had a coaching minor. And then from there, I was like, okay, I'm probably going to need a master's degree just in order, because I knew I wanted to coach collegiately, and it can kind of put you ahead on the list, when you're applying for jobs and whatnot. And then I also was like, okay, I got to get better at running too. So it kind of forced me to hunker down and get more serious about running.
Gotcha.
So that's how it all started.
So when you started your master's, you said in health promotion, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so did you have a graduate assistantship with coaching, or was that different?
Yeah, I did. I got my coaching. Yeah, I got my master's paid for, and I got to do grad assistantship. And then I also, after that, volunteered for a year after I was done. And I was just kind of like running with the girls, and I kept getting better. I think I dropped my steeple time in that year by 40 or 50 seconds.
Wow.
So it's like, I guess I should keep running too. I was just trying to help out the girls as much as I could in any way. I would just kind of bounce around from groups to group, the 10K group, then the 800 group this day. So it was a lot of fun. I mean, I think I learned a lot about coaching, and not one particular plan can always work specific. It's more broad based than
Yeah.
I think.
Do you think that, you mentioned you improved so much in the steeple, and you've run what, 941, 950, something like that?
951.
Yeah. So do you think you improved so much at that time because you were focused on something else, like coaching essentially, and you were just kind of jumping in, doing workouts, and all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting how that works out sometimes,
Yeah,
right? Your mind's
100%.
on it. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
And so, all right. Yeah, I've got like things are popping to my head now. So I suppose, you guys all, you sort of similar reasons why you got into coaching, and you were athletes. And do you think, Hilary touched on this a bit, but to what extent do you think? Two questions here. To what extent do you think being a runner, helped being a coach? And that's probably an obvious answer. But the second question is, how much of what you used as a runner, or how you trained as a runner, did you sort of transfer over to your own coaching? I guess, Hilary, you can start if you like.
Yeah, I think I reflect a lot on my career and what worked for me to give feedback to the athletes, but also look for feedback from them as well. And so I think for me, I had a long career. I was a professional athlete for 15 plus years. And so I took from that the consistency matters, that there's no shortcuts, that it's so, so important to take care of the details. I spent time training with the Africans in Ethiopia. I spent time training in Switzerland and with different groups. And so I think that diversity of experience really has helped me to appreciate different training styles and what it takes to be an elite, and also different perspectives on our North American lifestyle versus, the African way of life and the simplicity of it, and not necessarily needing stuff to run fast. And so I think I draw on a lot of those experiences. I also dabbled in some half marathon training at the end of my career and can appreciate the aerobic development side of that, because I hated long distance stuff most of my career. But as a coach, it's important, I think, to test yourself in and understand that athletes come at the sport in different ways, in different directions, different skill sets. So that's really helped me develop as a coach and understand what I need to know. And I also have done coaching education through the Canadian system, and I realized how little I knew about the sport of track and field by taking like the fundamentals of sport coach and learning about javelin and long jump and all of those things. So I think it really makes you a bit more well-rounded than the laser focus of being a 1500 meter elite athlete.
Yeah. Shayla?
So I think very similarly to what Hilary was saying, I think I've taken a lot of what I did as an athlete, but I, in my short pro career, was able to kind of see different groups, see what they were doing, and I would go and hang out with my friends, and they would be training a little bit differently, but we're all at the end of the day kind of doing something similar. So, and like Hilary was saying, like each athlete needs something a little bit different. So you have to be flexible. You can't be so stuck in your ways that then you don't have that open communication with your athletes. I think on a day-to-day basis, everyone's constantly changing, so you have to be able to adapt and modify anything. But I also think I use my training in coaching, or what I did for training, but also spending time with Coach Sandoval at University of California was huge as well. He came from a huge 400, 800 background. So I'm more comfortable with the longer stuff and saying, hey, let's go do an 8-mile threshold. And he's like, well, actually, let's do this speed development on Mondays and really see what latent speed they might have coming out of high school. So I think that has also molded me into a really well-balanced coach. And I'm really fortunate to have had him as another mentor as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love what you guys said about just being in tune with the athletes, and I think that's sort of a recurring theme with successful coaching. Um, what you said, Shayla, about sometimes we believe that we need something because we like it, and Hilary mentioned the opposite, right? She liked the faster stuff, not so much the long, slow stuff. But at what point, as a young athlete, do you realize, oh, wait a minute, I need to listen to these things, to do the things that I don't necessarily like, but I know might be valuable. At what point do you realize this is valuable, where you kind of get outside yourself a bit and realize, oh, I need to do it, even though I don't want to? At what point in the process for you guys did that happen?
For me, that happened every fall when I threw myself into cross-country races and realized that I had a long way to go for aerobic development, but how crucial it was each year that I was improving. I've had great coaches along the way. Testing different things out myself.